All right, everybody, welcome back to session 2 for Cloudcape here. Just to give a brief synopsis of last session, we opened up on a priest of Rattan providing a sermon in the middle of the upper jaunt as we saw a orcish fellow walk into a tavern, the captivating tavern, where we met Liora behind the bar. As this tavern is owned and operated by her family, Missandra and Valen, and her and her two brothers. We met Osiris there as well, the Goliath fighter, who was just on leave from his time in the military before having to return. We met Loki, a wizard, one of the patrons at the bar, regulars. After that, we moved across to the lower jaunt of the city, where we went into the Mind's Eye, a monastery on the lower end of town, where we met Lectern, his mentor Dugan, and we also met Silver, the Harangon, as Dugan asked for an escort from Lectern and Silver to take him back up to Captivating Tavern, where he could meet up with his friends, Missandra, Valen, and the blacksmith Grim. They went upstairs, had a little bit of a private meeting, which they do on occasion just to get away from the people. Shortly afterwards, some military members came in looking for a runaway mage, tiefling, who was supposedly seen in the area. They brought in a disciple, one of the chemically and magically altered individuals of the military, with its bald head, runic tattoos all over its body, and glowing sapphire eyes. After that, the inn in the tavern kind of died down for the evening. No one really wanted to continue. After that, it kind of killed the mood. Trying to get the last person out of the bar, Liora went to a person who looks like they had too much to drink before sending them into a little bit of a seizure as the body began to pour and ooze with this black ichor as it stopped moving and quickly transformed into some sort of grimy, slimy monster, where the group fought after really, honestly, coming out of that pretty unscathed. Nobody really taking much damage, and destroying this thing, showing the members that elect with Liora, Silver, and Loki showing off some magical capabilities that Liora requested be kept silent. We return just as they're recovering from this, and you see Valen and Missandra running down the stairs, having heard Leora scream at the beginning of combat. And Valen looks confused, distraught. He looks to Leora, his daughter, and says, "Leora, what happened?"
I'm not really sure, Father. I tried to help him, and he attacked us.
As you're having this initial bit, and both Missandra and Valen are there, kind of checking you, holding you and checking to see if you're injured. Just typical like worrying parents thing after a bit of danger. You see that Dugan and Grim actually. What is everyone's passive perception?
That's a fantastic question.
I got 12.
14 for Lectern.
12 for Liora.
Okay. What about you, Silver?
16.
Jeez. Okay. So everybody, everybody notices that, and Liora, you kind of catch it out of the corner of your eye as you're being kind of like huddled over by your parents. Start to look and see that as all four of them were coming down the stairs, Valen and Missandra went immediately to their daughter, but Dugan and Grim kind of took hold of the situation immediately, as far as like checking out a couple things. Grim went immediately to the front door of the tavern, kind of checked outside, looked to see a couple things. It's hard to know exactly what he's doing, but like he sticks his head out the door, closes it. You see him put a big lock on it. This door also has like the locks that go into like the ground and the boarding up in the frame of it, so it is not only like locked at the knob but also into the ground and the frame. You see that Dugan immediately goes to the body, and Silver, you're the only one that notices this additional thing. You see that Dugan, as he is like hovering, like leaning over and inspecting the body, you see that like a little bit of like white radiant light appears from his fingertips as he's like muttering under his breath, as it like kind of dissipates into the body. Not quite sure what he was doing, but
Can I attempt to identify what he did?
Well, I'm the only one that saw it.
Yeah, the only one that saw it was Silver. Everyone saw like them go to the bodies or Grim go to the door, but Silver's the only one whose passive perception was high enough to catch this additional thing.
Oh, my bad.
I'm going to make a note in my head to talk with Dugan about that later, whenever we get a quiet moment. But I'm just going to kind of notice that and have a curious look in my eye.
Yeah, and so yeah, he does this. He then, after a couple minutes, a minute or two of this, everyone else just kind of like standing around. Unless is there anything particular you want to do as like this initial like thing comes down? You have Valen and Missandra kind of like nervously checking out their daughter, and then Grim and Dugan are kind of doing their thing. Anything that y'all want to do or say in this moment?
I just want to remind everyone that you all swore secrecy to me casting magic. In case anyone forgot. Other than that, no, I'm just going to continue to like hug my parents. I'm frightened. I've never seen anything like this before.
Lectern's gonna walk up and kind of stand next to Master Dugan as he's investigating the body. What comes of this?
Well, that is a fantastic question, sir. Lectern, I don't know if I've seen this before. We need to know what happened. Right around then, he like has finished inspecting the body. Grim has come back in, and he says, "Yeah, something certainly happened while we were upstairs. We think we need to hear the whole story."
While this
Lecter's
is going on, I'm gonna go behind the bar and I'm gonna pour a bunch of pints for everyone to help calm our nerves.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Yeah, totally fine. They're comfortable with you, and it's a off situation, so no one even bats an eye. Valen and Lysandra don't even care.
I think Liora might be able to ask you questions best, Master.
Who, me? What
And,
what
yeah,
questions
like
do you have?
Well, I think that it would be a good idea to have just every detail. I don't want you to leave out anything, but I know that you came upstairs. Valen told me about the disciple. After you left, I need every detail before now, but between them and us coming down the stairs.
All right. I relay to him as best as I can what happened after having come upstairs and talked about the. Oh God, what was it called?
The disciple.
The disciple. Yeah. After the disciple, having gone downstairs, seeing that most of the patrons had already left the tavern due to fear of this disciple, and seeing this one lone man in the back, his back turned towards me, and when I went to go and make him leave, he just like fell back and started having a seizure and dripping this black liquid.
He had a seizure and then turned into some kind of monster or transformed into or gained abilities.
Yes, that's what it seemed like, and luckily the rest of them were here to protect me. I was powerless.
You see, your passive perception. Go ahead and roll deception.
Oh. No, I don't wanna. Oh, it's all right. It's +6. We'll see what happens. So that was a natural 20, and then it rolled into a 2, so that was an 8.
Oh, no. 8? Okay.
Fuck. Hold on.
Okay.
I thought I
While
had a
that's
thing.
going on, I'm just gonna chirp in and once just trying to like help it out. Once the individual started convulsing and the black liquid started spewing, I kind of jumped in between everyone and tried to push everyone back in a hurry. Just because in my time, I really haven't seen anything like that.
I'll allow that to be a very late but apt roll with advantage. So roll one more time, Cameron.
Come on, D&D Beyond, don't fuck me now. That's not much better. That's a 9.
Nice.
Hey, that is way better than a 2.
No, I mean it's a
Strong
9 total.
Oh, oof. All right. So, looking here at. Okay, so you see, as Dugan's talking to you, you see that he gets like this little crease in between like his old like gray bushy eyebrows as he just like looks into your soul. It feels like he looks at you in a way where that you ever remember when you were a kid, like, and you would do something that was wrong and you would lie about it, and at the time, like, because you're like a little kid and you think you got away with it, but looking back on it, your parents definitely knew.
Maybe.
Like, it's not dissimilar to that, because he sees you, and then he looks to a couple like burn marks on the ceiling, and on the floor.
I left evidence.
Not just you, but he looks. There is clear in his mind's. Well, you don't know it's on his, but he definitely looks at a few things around, and then looks back to you and says, "Of course, helpless. It's so good that that Osiris and the others were here to protect you." And looks to like Loki and Silver as well. knowing very clearly like the capabilities that you have, Lectern, he looks and says, "Lectern, I'm sure that you were one of the, that you were certainly helped out in disposing of this creature.
I was.
Well done." And he like gives you a pat on the shoulder. As this is happening, Grim then speaks up and says, "Well, I don't know what the fuck happened here, but it's clear that something bad when it happens, and there is some bad luck tonight, because to have a disciple walk into the tavern and then have this happen, it can't be a coincidence." And he looks at, he gives like not a stern look, but he definitely like gives a look to Valen and Missandra. Which,
Oh god.
oh, no, continue what you were saying.
I was gonna ask, does anybody seem to recognize the person before they turned into the monster?
Anyone who wants to can roll either a perception or a history check, which your choice.
I'm not going to, because I guess I didn't really know him I don't know. I didn't recognize him off the bat, I guess. So
okay.
I'll let everybody else roll.
Now I roll good. It's a 21.
Nice.
Okay. Gotcha. Anyone else rolling?
Sure, why not? Let's see.
I just want to go on record that D&D Beyond apparently has a bias against lying.
Hey, honesty is the best policy. That's what my parents always said.
Love it.
16?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you roll? Did you roll perception or history?
I rolled perception.
Okay. Liora, what did you roll?
Perception as well.
Both of you rolled perception? Okay. So both of you are able to notice that based on it's hard to know for sure if you've seen this particular person before, Osiris. Based on his dress, based on the clothes that he's wearing, there is a very clear divide in like classes, even within the free folk of Ritar, that very clearly indicate that this is a lower, someone that's either like probably might work here in the Upper Jaunt, or was up here for some other reason, but like his clothes are kind of ragged and torn, little older. The soles of his shoes are worn. Definitely someone of that, like probably lives in the Lower Jaunt. That's best that you can tell. Liora, you actually are, I'd say like 99%, like 98, 99% sure that you've seen this person before, as he is someone that like has previously been in the bar. Like he's been a customer here, like just a patron. You also have on occasion heard tale of a few folk that have come up from the Lower Jaunt to the Upper Jaunt to sell like illegal substances. So like you're putting in like the tales that you've heard, the rumors, and him, and you're like, I'm fairly certain that this was someone who would come up here to sell like Sood, or which is like basically this world's version of like marijuana-ish type thing. It's like an herb that you smoke, or like or some other type of drug. That's what you're pretty sure that you can remember and have noticed.
Can I roll a medicine check to see if it was either drugs, like maybe he got high on his own supply, or if it's a type of disease, pathogen, virus, something like that. Like, obviously, I don't have a whole lot of medical expertise, but relying on stories that I've heard as working in the tavern.
Yeah, I mean, people like tell their barkeep a ton of stuff that they really shouldn't be or have no reason to tell them. But so go ahead and roll a medicine check for me if you want.
If I roll badly on D&D Beyond, I'm switching to actual dice. I'm just saying. Am I allowed to mention D&D Beyond?
Yeah, I mean, it's a free to use service technically.
Oh, okay.
We're not sponsored by Wizard by any means.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that'd be cool.
Not sponsored or created by us.
Yeah.
That's a 18.
18. Okay, yeah. So you have heard a lot about like different drugs, different things that happen, or that can happen. You've heard of, you know, people who like consume too much pixie dust and like their heart stops. You've heard of, you know, people having like a lot of like potentially having seizures, especially on like some drugs that maybe are mixed poorly, or have or also in like the case of withdrawals from some of the more scary drugs. You, in the best you can tell and would know, there is nothing. So like the seizure parts make sense, like the heart stopping and him stopping breathing makes sense. It's that ichor, that like black tarry substance that like started coming out of his mouth and eyes and ears and nose, but then like afterwards started seeping out of like his pores, that is throwing you for a loop. That doesn't sound like fucking anything you've heard before. So it's like, if it's drugs, it's a drug you've never heard of, but it could be like a mixture of things. You don't know.
Okay. Based on the fact that what I do know about the drugs and seizures and stoppage of breathing, I'm going to assume that that's what it is, and I'm going to look to Osiris and say, sorry, I have to get my voice ready, you know, for a terrible woman impression. Mm-hmm. I'm going to look at Osiris and just say, I've never heard of this drug before. I wonder, maybe it's a new type of herb?
Oh, there's always a possibility. Pretty sure they're coming across new stuff or whatever all the time. I know, like I said, definitely in my travels, I've never seen anyone spew anything like that out of themselves.
Yes, this was definitely shocking.
Definitely something that should probably be further looked into.
As you're having this conversation, having your drinks that were provided for you by Osiris on on behalf of the Cape Evading Tavern, you see that as you're having this talk, that Grim, Dugan are kind of just like stepped off to the side, like near, like because Sandra and Valen are still very much like at your side, Liora, as you're having these conversations. You see that they're like off to this, that Dugan and Grim are kind of off to the side, like whispering between themselves. Right about now is when you would see, is you hear like some light like footsteps coming down the stairs as you see Ben coming down from upstairs and be like, what's going on?
I'm gonna run over and hug Ben and make sure, like, try and avert his eyes so he doesn't see the corpse lying on the floor.
Speaking of that,
What's that?
I assume this is a child.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah, Lectern's gonna look at, I guess, I don't know, really, Liora. You said the two other owners there, or Leora's parents?
Yeah, Valen and Missandra are both downstairs. Leora's mother and father, and they're you would know them. You've seen them. You've talked to them. They're both there near Liora right now, and this is her little brother Ben.
Okay. Shall we move this body? And he's gonna look over at Valen.
Wait, there's a body. I want to see.
God.
I want to see the body.
I'm gonna give Lectern a very, very piercing stare for about like a solid 2.5 seconds, and then I'm gonna rush Benjamin upstairs.
Roll athletics or acrobatics against this little child who desperately wants to see a body, even though he doesn't know what it's going to do to him.
No, shit.
I swear to God. That's good. 17.
Okay, he rolled a 15. So
Got it.
I rolled a natural 14. I gave him a +1 for dexterity. And he goes and he tries to like juke past you, tries to like run past you, but you're able to like grab him and swing and you like pick him up in your arms. His legs and the feet are moving. He's trying to wiggle free, but he can't. He's like, "Sis, let me go! See the body!"
I'm gonna say, no, you don't need to see this. You'll have nightmares. And I'm gonna bring him upstairs.
Aww. Fine. Yes, you head upstairs with Ben to take care of him. Valen looks at Missandra and then to Dugan and Grim and says, yes, I think it would be a good idea for everyone to spend the night tonight. Please, let's. My home is your home for the evening. We have some rooms available, and yes, let's. Maybe in the morning this will be less an issue. Grim looks at Lectern, who recommended moving the body, and says, "Don't you worry about it. We'll take care of that. You go get some rest. It was a scary fight, a scary thing that you had to face. You take care of yourself."
You sure you don't need a hand?
I've got two strong ones right here. He kind of like does like a little flex of his muscles. Still, like, you're almost thinking that he might like have like permanently dyed fingertips of soot just because of like, even now, even though he's probably not been in a forge for the last 6 hours, he still has like just blackened fingertips.
You can give a nod.
And Dugan will respond and say, "And I will be here to assist as well. I think that it would be good for everyone else to get some rest, and perhaps in the morning we can reconvene." Loki is not even gonna say anything. He's going to, accept the free room and kind of immediately head upstairs and pass out, go to sleep.
Like a Skyrim NPC.
Yep. He messes me. He's not gonna make it. He's apparently sick.
Oh yeah.
Poor guy.
He's probably got what his son had last week.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
I'll just.
So, Liora went upstairs. Valen and Missandra kind of like gesture towards Lectern, Silver, and Osiris, and say, "If you'll follow us, we'll find you. We'll get you in some rooms, and you can rest for the night. Each one includes a enchanted tub that has enough water and heat to give you a nice warm bath for the evening, to help wash off that mucking granite.
Oh yeah, Electron follows.
Yeah, I guess as going upstairs, like I said, I'll turn towards Dugan and nod and just tell him, if you need any assistance, just summon me.
Thank you, young one. Silver, what are you doing?
I'll go with them as well. Just kind of following behind.
Sounds good. So you all
Ready
head
by the time.
upstairs, and you're escorted into some rooms. Osiris, you've been best friends with Liora basically your entire life. So you have, like, it's up to you, but you have like a space that you are always offered within the personal home like setting of the family. Like that's not like a tavern room that you can go to if you would like, or if you would like to have like a standard, like, tavern room, you could do that. The rest of you, Lictorn and Loki and Silver, are all given one of the 5 tavern rooms that are available for rent.
So it takes, let me get this straight, Osiris. It takes like an undead fiend for you to finally accept my invitation for a slumber party. That's distressing to our friendship.
Yeah, I guess I'll follow up with Liora just to also make sure she's all right.
You see me coming out of Ben's room, and I'm muttering to myself. I don't know if he'd hear it or not, but I'm basically just ranting to myself about how I'm gonna absolutely drill Draxel, my older brother, when he gets home, because he was not here.
Up to you. Are you saying it loud enough for Osiris to hear? You trying to be quiet from?
No. I mean, I'm being quiet enough not to like disturb Ben, but not quiet enough that Osiris wouldn't hear me.
Yeah. By the time that you got Ben upstairs, it's already like very late for him at this point in the day, so it wouldn't have been that hard to like convince him to lay down and start trying to go to sleep. So Osiris, as you're walking up the stairs and enter into the living space of of your childhood friend's family home, you hear her say this.
I'll just start chuckling and be like, yeah, feel sorry for that guy.
As
Definitely
well,
get clocked pretty good.
As well you should. He will be the second corpse in this building. When I talk like that, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. All right, this new mic is sick.
Heck yeah. Lectern and Silver, you are both escorted by Miss Andra into rooms. As she opens the door, you can see that each room has a very nice, like they're actually fairly comfortable rooms. Each one has a queen size bed with fresh linens and blanket on it. Nice, 2 very fluffy looking pillows. It has a nightstand with a lamp already like full of oil ready to use. It includes a wash basin and a mirror. It includes like a small set of dressers for people who are like doing longer stays. Very much like Super 8, like upgraded Super 8 motel standards. but in each room also there is a secondary door that leads to its own personal washroom where it has an enchanted copper tub and in there as well, large mirror and some towels already for you.
Lictor's gonna take advantage of all this, as he's mostly staying at the Mind's Eye temple. He'll light his lantern, kind of declothe, wash himself, and get ready for bed.
Sounds good. So I assume you do the same?
Yep. I'm just gonna kind of hop around and get a little comfortable and then crawl into the bed.
Great. So you all, you two go to bed. Liora, Osiris, anything else that you want to do for the evening?
No, I think I'm just gonna give out a big yawn, and say it's been one interesting day, Osiris. I think I'm gonna head to bed.
Oh, definitely agreed.
I give him one of those big bear hugs he's used to giving, and then I head off to my room.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So all of you can officially have your long rest, which does mean that your level up to level 2 does now take effect. So your additional hit points now take effect. Those of you with spells now have your additional spells. All that stuff does now work. It's for some of you, it's a little bit difficult to fall asleep, even though the beds are comfortable, the place is warm and quiet. That was, for some of you, the very first instance of violence maybe that you've ever actually had to do against another thing. Obviously some of you have trained in martial combat or tested your magical abilities, but I would think that facing or using that in a lethal manner is not something that you're used to. So each of you kind of handles that in your own personal way, and it feels like you've lost a little bit of something that you're never going to fully get back. There's an innocence that is lost once your actions have led to another life being taken. Or maybe your thought was that the life was already taken because of the black ichor growth stuff. Maybe that doesn't affect you the same way. But as you all wake up in the morning, it's because we are in a mountain city underneath the ground. There's no sunlight, but you do see that. And something that you would know is that the lights outside, that are on the streets, all are on some sort of enchanted timing system that was put in place by the early settlers of the cities to basically simulate a day-night cycle. So that way, usually you start seeing light coming in through the windows as the street lamps and the lights up above on top of the cavern begin to brighten to simulate the beginning of the day. And the day is yours. What would you like to do?
I have a question, and then I'll sorry. I have a question first, and then Cameron, you can go.
Yeah.
But how are we doing health in this, Tyler? Are we just let it do the automatic thing there? Or
Yeah,
we
you do the full heal with the long rest.
Okay, got you. I just leveled up to level 2, and it gave me 4 more points. I didn't know if I had to go in and edit and make it max or whatever.
It's not max, but we're doing rolled HP. And
Okay.
if you roll a 1, you get to re-roll.
Gotcha. Okay. So, take care. So I need to re-roll for my HP after I level up, or
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So when you roll, so going to level 2, you would roll your
I have a
monk, so
D8.
D8. Yeah. So you roll the D8, add that to your rolled number. If you roll a 1, you will then get to just roll again. So
Okay.
that way you at least don't get the minimum amount of hit points possible.
I can't remember who it was. I think it was Jaden actually who needed the same question answered. I think there was a couple of us. I can't remember, but
Yeah, I saw that his was still not leveled up, but that's fine. We can level him up before next time we play.
Got you. Mine was 12 before it. When I leveled up to level 2, it put me at 16. I think it was just automatically. So I'd be at 12. Would I just roll another D8 on top of that?
So go ahead and roll your D8.
Okay. That's a 7.
Cool. So now you'll go to your manage hit points on the edit characters screen.
Roger that. Let's see here. Oh, then rolled HP.
Yeah, the rolled HP would be 15 because you have an 8 for your first level.
That makes more sense.
Then 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, thanks, dude.
And then it will automatically add in the con stuff.
Okay, cool. I didn't want to make sure it was maxed out or underdone, you know what I mean? All that shit. So
yeah, no, totally fair.
That was my question. Liora, if you wanted to do your thing. Sorry about that, guys.
All good.
No, you're good. That's good. There are good stuff to ask. I was just gonna say, because I'm used to the in work, I'm up before everybody else, helping out my father and mother, waiting for Draxel to come down so I can kill him, and then I would go up to the rooms once I hear like footsteps above me and start knocking on the doors, asking if they need anything, because that's what I'm used to doing.
So you wake up and kind of immediately come downstairs to the tavern where the kitchen is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so
with my military background and just hearing movement, I would also get up in some sort of manner.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you as a military member, like 100% being up early makes a lot of sense for you. So, as much as like it is for like an innkeeper to wake up early, military folks also get up to like butt crack of dawn as well. So suffice it to say, it like probably is going to be the two of you up first.
That's what I'm thinking.
Pick third if that's cool. If nobody else has anything to do before them.
Yeah.
All right.
So as the as you both Osiris and Liora, as you leave your rooms in the family living space, you notice a couple things. Liora, you do notice that at this point, Draxel has his coat kind of like thrown onto the back of the table in the dining room. You see his boots kind of like haphazardly like thrown by the door where all like the shoes go, but not necessarily like placed there nicely. He's a 19-year-old kid. He is kind of not the most clean, but you can tell that Draxel is home and up here. What you don't see is typically when you get up, because you run this place with your parents and with your family, you typically see that at this point in the day your parents are up and running as well, and you typically meet them like in the living room area, but they are not in here.
Oh. Seeing that they're not there, this is it's obviously different and a little bit of a cause for concern, only because of what happened last night. So I'm gonna go back to the living area where our rooms are, and I'm gonna open up my parents' door. I'm gonna knock first.
Sure. You knock. No response.
Mother? Father?
You don't hear anything.
I open the door, like, immediately.
Cool. So yeah, you open the door, and as you open the door to this room, you look in, and the room is spotless, as your parents like to keep it. They are very clean, neat people. They're those folks that are like, if you clean up as you go, you'll never have to spend a lot of time. Like those folk, the ones that you hate.
I can
Because
absolutely
you
see
can't
my
do that.
father being that way.
Yeah. But bed is made. There is, yeah, like their bed is made. They're not in here. There is, like, your mother has like a book on her side of the bed that sometimes she'll read by lantern lights, while your dad will, like, maybe do some like light wood carvings or like balance books or something for the inn, or whatever. So they have like their own individual side tables with things on them still. Not in the room.
Okay. And there's like no signs of well, if it's that clean, yeah, there wouldn't be any signs of it. In that case, I'm gonna go to Draxel's room.
I was gonna say, you've lived here a long time. Like, it's hard to know because they are just so clean. So you go to Draxel's room?
I go to Draxel's room and I just start banging on the door. Like, I don't give a shit how tired he is. I am enraged.
Okay, so you start banging on the door, and as you, for a little bit, you hear, like, from underneath the pillow, like, "Hello!"
I kick the door open.
You slam the door open. You see that Draxel is currently, like, now hearing the door open, like, jolting awake in bed, shirtless, but like his pants from the day before still on, just like on top of his covers. He jolts awake, his like short blonde hair kind of just askew, and has like this look of just in these large, like, bags under his eyes. You don't know when he came home, but it looks like he's probably not been asleep for terribly long. What the fuck do you want, Liora?
I'm gonna walk over to the side of his bed. I'm gonna pick up a pillow and I'm gonna hit him with it. And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say, do you understand what happened last night? Do you even know?
Hold on. Oh. I don't know what you mean. You mean Mom and Dad and Grim and that old man just staying up all night?
No, you absolute dunce. We were attacked last night, and a disciple came into our tavern.
As you say disciple, like, you see that he, like, his eyes perk up, and they bring fear into pretty much everyone's hearts. Wait, hold on. Why would a disciple come into our tavern?
I don't fucking know. All I know is he came, and later we were attacked by one of our patrons. Mom and Dad were probably up all night cleaning up the mess.
Okay, I don't... Attacked? What do you mean? A patron attacked you. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. But you should have been here, Draxel.
I cleared it with Mom and Dad. It was supposed to be a night for me to have off, and how was I supposed to know that the one night off I take in 2 months, you get a fucking attacked by, and a disciple comes in? That's not my fault.
Okay, you know what? He's actually got a bit of a point. I'm gonna let out kind of an exasperated sigh and say, you know what, Draxel? That's true. I guess I'm just freaked out.
Yeah, I've only seen a disciple once before, and it was at a distance, and I thought I was going to wet myself. I can't imagine what it must have been like having him here.
I'm honestly surprised I didn't.
Well, well, when I came upstairs, the four of them were still downstairs, around. It looks like they at the time they had a couple drinks, and were talking about something. I don't know. I honestly didn't pay much attention. I just didn't. They didn't let on that anything happened. I just thought that they were enjoying a time with friends. Dugan and Grimm have been coming over since I was born.
No, you're right, Draxel, and I'm sorry. I just was so freaked out. But I meant to ask, how did it go with would I know her name?
Yeah, you would know that. So your brother, being the handsome half elf that he is, with the skills of a chef, and he's done a lot of as most teenagers do, kind of sowing his wild oats. But he has for a couple months now, been trying to convince you, his parents, himself. He keeps saying, no, this is different. And that he's been talking about this woman. She's a human, who goes by I actually have a name for her. What the fuck did I put down?
Oh, I should also clarify, he's like 21.
Yeah, early 20s. In my kid opinion, that's still a kid. I don't think people grow up until they're almost 30 at this point.
God, ain't that the truth?
Right. So I'm a 30-year-old man. I have to work in the morning. And get up at 6:30, and I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons. So, no one really ever grows up.
That's fair.
But her name is Brienne.
Brienne. I'm gonna ask him, how did it go with Brienne?
It was great. We had a great time. We went to what was the name of that? We went to this fancy restaurant, close towards the Glittering Gates. That was supposedly a great romantic spot. Honestly, I make better food than they do, but it was nice not to have to cook a meal for once and have someone else do it. The wine was great. There was a minstrel there, who kept asked and playing throughout the entire dinner. Was fantastic. I actually got his information. His name is the name he got. What was his name? Did I tell you that the wine was good?
I'm gonna let out
it was a elf, but a full elf, with pale skin. It looked like, I don't know. He was definitely a different elf than we are, but he played, and at one point his lute that he was playing floated in the air and continued to play by itself, so that way he could pull out a flute and start playing on that. I gave more information. I told him that if he's looking for another place to play that maybe is a little less fancy but still can have a nice clientele, that he should come down, and that we would make sure he's compensated appropriately. Phenomenal. Don't remember his name. Her
Well.
name, his name.
Well, I'm sure
The
he'll
wine was
come. But listen, we have guests upstairs. I need you to jump into the kitchen and start cooking, so that way they have breakfast. I'm gonna look for Mom and Dad. They're not here.
Okay. Yeah. Give me 10 minutes, and I'll get downstairs and get some breakfast ready for people.
Sounds good. And I'm gonna leave the room, and I assume I go to look for Mom, but we'll pass it off here.
Yeah. So by the time that you have that, Osiris, I think, was like seeing this conversation go. The living space isn't massive, so especially when you're not trying to be quiet, like conversation can carry. So Osiris definitely would have heard that like go on, so you would know where she was. I'd say as the two of you leave the living quarters to go downstairs, you do meet up with Lectern, and Lectern, your passive perception is 14.
Yes.
Okay.
He said that with so much pride.
Honestly,
yes.
well, because think about the characters in the other campaign. Like no one in especially in your campaign, Cameron, has a good wisdom score.
Yeah, everyone's pretty low on wisdom in my campaign.
Nice. Yeah. A bunch of idiots.
Yeah, a bunch of non-perceptive assholes.
Yeah.
So Lectern, you would hear as you start to meet up with Liora and Osiris and start to head downstairs, you catch a little bit of something as you start making your way down. You hear in Missandra's voice, or raising in volume, you hear her say, "No, we made this choice so that way they could live a normal life. We're not telling them." Right after that, you also then hear you kind of stop. You hear a little bit of shushing as y'all's footsteps begin to come down the stairs. And as you come down, you see that Valen, Missandra, Dugan, and Drac and Grim are all around a table. Looks like they all have steaming cups of coffee, and the place looks spotless. Not spotless as in entirely clean, but you can't find any evidence of the fight the previous night on any surface. Even the scorch marks on the ceiling are gone.
Wow.
Oh, dang. Someone in here's a wizard. So I don't want to keep going because I feel like I'm taking away from everyone else, but at the same time, hearing them say that shit.
You don't hear them.
Oh, I don't hear them?
No, the only person that did was Lectern.
Oh, right. Okay, right. I keep forgetting that my passive perception is not great.
Yeah, I mean, it's not awful, but it's not as good. So, yeah, the only person that heard that would have been Lectern. Silver, what are you doing right now?
I would have gotten up probably shortly after everybody else did and made my way downstairs for some breakfast, some toast and berries.
Do you think you would have been up long, shortly enough after where you would have heard that, or do you think that?
If anything, I wasn't paying enough attention. I was just focused on grabbing something to eat.
I was going to say,
maybe
to be
you
clear,
were not quite ready to come down yet.
Well, no,
Yeah.
Osiris and Liora would have been up before them anyway.
Well, yeah, but then you spent some time upstairs, having the conversation with Draxel as well. So you didn't come right down.
That screaming match and him calling me a bitch was probably what woke him up.
Yeah,
that's probably it.
Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to Cape Evading.
I guess, would I know where Silver's room is?
Yeah, that it's in the same hallway, like 2 down from you.
Okay.
So you would have known exactly where it is.
Due to me and, I guess, him kind of, I wouldn't say spending time together, but just being around each other over the last month at the monastery, Lectern's going to knock at Silver's door when he gets up. After hearing this, I guess.
Okay, yes, you hear this. You were like, oh, wait, I need to grab Silver and go to his door. Silver, you hear a knock on the door.
I hop over to the door and open it.
Morning.
Good morning. I hope you slept well.
As do I for you. I'm gonna go out and do my morning ritual. Used to having you out there in the garden. Would you mind accompanying me?
Not at all.
And then that's where I'm gonna go and follow downstairs.
Cool. So as you come down, Cameron just posted the pictures again of what the first and second floor kind of look like.
Oh, nice.
That way you can get a little bit of an idea.
Love a good visual.
Yep. So you all come downstairs. About 5-10 minutes or so after you all come down, you see again the scene where the 4 adults, will say the older folks, Valen, Massandra, Grim, and Dugan are all sitting around a table having a cup of coffee, and they stop talking. Lectern, you notice that they stopped talking as soon as they heard footsteps above, but they see you come down and say, oh, good morning. It seems that you all look well rested. Glad that it looks like it did you all some good. Valen speaks out.
Morning, and we appreciate you having us.
Oh, yes. Thank you for the bed. It was quite comfortable.
Of course. Our place is your place for the evening. And Valen looks to Liora. Liora, I assume that you awoke the slovenly Draxel to make some breakfast for these kind folk. Have him earn his keep. Liora, did you wake up Draxel?
Oh, sorry. I was reading the innate sorcery thing. Yes, I did. Not in the way I thought I would this morning, but, emotions.
Understood. Right around then, you see Draxel coming downstairs with just like a black cotton shirt on over the same pants he was wearing the night before. He is has like house slippers on. He's like running his fingers through his hair, and he yawns and says, "Yeah, she woke me up quite rudely, but I guess I can't blame her too much. I'll make some breakfast. Is everyone okay with omelets, or does anyone have any special requests?"
I'm just gonna run over and give him a quick hug as like an apology.
He does that like big brother hug, kind of like pats you on the back.
Yee.
Special requests? Going once, going twice.
Why not? I'll get a giant platter of something good.
All right, I gotcha. You see, he goes in the back and starts, very quickly turns on, several stove tops, using gas, and puts pans down. You start hearing a little bit of clattering as he starts making his way through to make breakfast for everybody. As he does that, Valen looks and says, "Yes, come, let's sit down. It'll be nice to have a breakfast with everybody." And he kind of he and like kind of grabs Missandra by the elbow kind of gently and says, "Come on, let's move to a bigger table," and grabs their cups, goes over to one of the larger tables that's big enough to seat everybody that is here. So Dugan and Grim kind of follow suit. Well, all right. So, I suppose we could stay for breakfast, especially if Draxel's making it.
I kind of well up with pride when he says that, knowing like that's right. That's right. I have the big brother that can cook and impress kings.
Hello?
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 Hello.
Oh, we seem to have lost Tyler. And we're back.
Great. Sorry about that. All right. So everyone goes and sits down at the larger table.
Yeah.
Just being courteous to my size, I'm gonna sit at one of the ends.
Great. So you do that. So takes like 20-ish minutes or so before eventually you see Draxel come out with a cart, basically, like, because he's the only one back there. He has like a little cart that he has plates for every single one of you on. You see that Grim has like a few people have individual plates, obviously, like having been here and worked as long as he has. Some people have like their usuals. So Grim, Missandra, Valen all have like their usual thing that they eat. So you'll see that Grim's is like steak and eggs and like, like large mound of like hash browns, very like hefty, basically covered the whole thing in gravy. You see that Missandra's is like a nice like couple over easy eggs with some toasts and some greens. You see that Valen is like an omelet, and if nothing else was requested, you all are given basically like a meat and cheese that has like bacon and sausage and cheese and some like sauteed onions and mushrooms and it's fantastically made. You got side of hash browns, just this delicious like amount of food that is all incredible to taste. He sets everyone's down. He looks and says, "All right, well, now that everyone has breakfast, I think I am going to go back to bed. Ben can't be the only one allowed to sleep in today." And starts heading back upstairs and leaves everyone else here to eat. And the morning is yours for anything you wish to do.
Well, as a poor lector needs anything, let's announce the dragon in the room. Glad we all survived last night.
Cassandra sets down her fork and knife and says, "That's the least that we could be thankful for. I can't thank you enough for looking at Lectern and Osiris specifically, but everyone a little bit. I can't thank you enough for protecting my daughter and putting down the threats. Even though I'm sure that it was a dangerous adventure, I don't know what I would have done if I lost my daughter." She reaches over and like kind of clasps Leora's hand. Valen kind of clears his throat. Oh yes, that was quite a thing. Thank you, Grim Dugan, for doing what you've done and cleaning up. That was especially with having a disciple in earlier yesterday. Having to report that would have been unpleasant. Grim laughs. Unpleasant. I think that he would have had, if that captain, if I understand his reputation half as well as I think I do, would have had everyone here strapped up in the dungeon by their thumbs, expecting everyone to, claiming every one of you to be an outcast and rebel. Dugan responds with like, well, having a monster or creature, whatever that was, appear right after a disciple definitely does, cause some suspicion. It's only a worry of what would happen if it happened again.
And just hearing that, I'm gonna Osiris is gonna chime in. With whatever happened to that being, I'm kind of surprised the disciple didn't notice it before it left.
That's.
Go ahead.
Oh, continue.
I was going to say, between that person the disciple was looking for and that person we also fought, that was not that person. We've established that.
Yeah, so the person that they were looking for was a red-skinned female tiefling. The person that you fought was a human man with like paler skin, like scraggly beard, and kind of unkempt hair, but definitely 100% not the same person.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Don't let him deceive you as a disguised self spell.
That lasted after death. Yeah. No, that's the disciples' sight is impressive, which does lead certain avenues of questioning for what this thing was, because from my understanding, and if the disciple was in the tavern, whatever that creature was could not have been under any sort of disguise of any sort of magical sense. They have, because the disciples have the ability to see through disguises, even of the arcane variety. But I can't say with the knowledge at my disposal and the information here, I can't give any more idea of or credence to what the reason was than that. Graham looks up and says, my bet is that it knew it was there all along and just didn't care to do anything. It's looking for the tiefling after all, not its mission.
Would Lecter know? Fuck. Sorry, dude, to keep cutting you off.
Okay. He finished up and saying, you know that those disciples care about only the mission. Continue what you're saying.
Sorry, man. Would Lecter know where, I guess all of us really, would we know where the disciples come from, or if they originate from the city and stuff, or they have like a place that's local?
Yeah, so everyone, like, as just general knowledge, would know that that there are only a certain number of disciples at any given time. That they are not born; they are made in a certain extent. whereas like someone that has talent of the arcane variety, then goes through like chemical and arcane changes and enhancements to basically become a disciple, and they live in like their own kind of separate housing on the barrack circle, which is below, just below the lower jaunt, and kind of like best that you know, like they don't really like go out other than for missions. That's kind of like the general knowledge that like everyone would know.
Perfect.
Do we know if this transformation is voluntary?
So Osiris, you would know that being in the military, you would know that there are plenty over the years, over the millennia, that have volunteered to become disciples. There are some who are talented enough and able to withstand it that also are put to bed, that had like rebel tendencies or authority problems, that were put to better use as a disciple, because it's allowing them to live up to their full potential is like the rhetoric that's used, without having the personality get in the way, if that makes sense.
Okay, so let me just reiterate this kind of in my own words. So, more or less, there's people that are skilled enough or unlucky enough just because of whatever ideologies they kind of have that are then kind of pushed into it.
So you are required to become a disciple. You have to have a certain level of ability, right?
Mm.
You have to have a certain baseline of skill set. Of those people, some of the disciples, like some people volunteer to become a disciple. They feel it's like, an honor. Others don't, and others are kind of forced into it because they either rebel or they have authority issues, and then they're kind of forced into it. Because the number of people that have that level of skill, there's not a lot. So if a disciple like slot or position is open, and there's no volunteers, they will take someone that doesn't want to do it and make them do it, if they are, as like a punishment of sorts.
Okay.
Oh, an arcane
Does that make sense?
lobotomy. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of reiterate all that in more of a, I guess, a plain brutish term.
Yeah. So yeah, some volunteer, others are forced into it, is basically the short and long of it.
That sounds terrible.
You're not wrong. It's barbaric for someone so enlightened. You see that Massandra kind of like shoots Grim a look. Grim, this is not the time or place for such discussion. Valen kind of like looks uneasy at Massandra.
Do I
and
notice
says, I would say that this is something that is based on everyone's passive perception. Everyone can notice.
I'm growing more and more suspicious as they do things.
Go ahead and roll insight or perception for me, Liora.
What's better? Insight. That's a whammy. God damn it. It's an 8.
8. Okay.
My passive insight is 14.
We're trying to do some active stuff here. Yeah, he seems like there's definitely something bothering your dad. It's hard to know for sure what it is, because it's been a fuck of a day. You had a disciple in here, his daughter got attacked. Like, there's a bunch of things he can be upset about. Like, he might just be like genuinely upset about having to have this conversation because he's a barkeep. Like, you don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah. But Grim and Dugan both kind of like look back and forth to each other, to Valen and Cassandra, kind of nod their head and say, maybe you're right. Yes, maybe you're right. Maybe now's not the time to talk about such questions.
But why
I
not?
think Can you say that?
I do.
Okay. You see, with you saying that, Missandra speaks up and says, well, because it's not our place, dear. We are just members of lowly tavern keepers. We aren't members of the political elites or the government. It's not our place to.
While she says that, I'm gonna kind of like slam my open hand down on the table and just, how can I better protect y'all if I don't know what's going on?
Roll intimidation or persuasion.
Before he does, can I assist with that by saying, it wasn't the politicians or government that was almost killed last night.
Yeah, I'll say do it with advantage.
Yes. My turn, assholes. No, I'm just kidding.
+4, so 17.
Okay, and you use what?
Intimidation.
Intimidation. Okay. So as you slam your hand on the table, you see that both Valen and Missandra kind of like, start and kind of jump slightly at the sudden loud noise. As you say this, Grim and looks at both of them and says, "The young ones are right. Unfortunately, this found them, despite best intentions. If they are going to be safe, it needs to be through knowledge, not through lies and deceit." Dugan responds and says, I agree. I think that everyone here is old enough, and quite frankly, I think that some of them, given another year or two, probably would have been searching on their own for this anyway. Valen looks to Missandra and says, "My love, I think it's time. Draxel's 21 years old. Liora's an adult. Ben, he's still a child, but how much longer are we going to be able to keep this up? How much longer are we going to be able to protect them?" Sandra, you see, has a tear coming down her eye, and say, I just don't want this. I want a normal life.
I'm gonna walk over and hold my mother's hand. Say, Mother, I think the chance at a normal life is gone. You obviously know something you're not telling us, and it's found us whether you want it or not. Thinking that she needs to hear the truth, and I'm not about to sugarcoat it.
Okay.
It's her fault. I get it from her.
Yeah. No, you 100% do. Sounds like a lesson I taught you. Seems like yesterday. Must have been years ago, though. You've grown up so well and so smart. Well, I think we'll start with from the beginning. You see that Missandra, as she takes off her wedding ring on her on her ring finger. You see that as she does so, her form kind of changes. You see that the hair remains. You see that her bone structure seems to sharpen a little bit as her features begin to take on a little bit more of a crispness. You see that her ears kind of elongate to the point, just a little bit before kind of disappearing into her hair that is a little bit a little bit more, not ratty or messy, but definitely less well kept than most people I've ever seen it. And she's obviously it's very clear to tell that these folks have been up all night, no sleep. She kind of puts her hair back behind an ear, and you see a long pointed elf ear. You see, my name is not Missandra. My name is Mithria. And I am from a family of nobility within the Glittering Gates. Your father, Valen, and I met years ago while he worked on our estates. We fell in love. He was not someone that I could marry as nobility. Free and punished are not to intermingle. But we were in love, and we wouldn't let that stop us. So we ran. We found someone to assist and provide us new identities. Provided me with this ring for protection. And we started this tavern. And this is where we've been for the last 25 years.
My jaw's just hanging open.
Smokes.
I'm just I don't even know what to say. My own mother is actually elven nobility.
I'm gonna hop over to her and put a hand on her shoulder. That's a pretty tough secret to take, isn't it? That sucks. But we'll get through this together.
You have no idea. I appreciate your assistance. Now I don't know what that thing was or where it came from. But looking at she now looks at Dugan, who says, but it's not the first time that these particular ailments have been seen. There have been a few isolated incidents within the city, specifically mostly in the lower ends of the city, mostly in the shacks and a few in the lower johns. People becoming monstrous, gaining abilities, and going wild. Because of it being located mostly in the shacks, the government does not care. The military is non-existent in that part of town, as after all, why spend free lives to protect the punished?
So wait, hold on. I think I may have missed it. But what is it that the military doesn't notice?
Basically, he's saying that these types of things have happened before in the shacks. But because that's where the punished live, the military don't care because they don't go there. They're not there to protect the punished. They're there to protect the free.
Oh, you mean like people falling in love that shouldn't?
No, the black goopy monster thing.
Oh, that. Okay, see, that's what I missed. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that basically that she explained what she did, what like her story is, and now Dugan is explaining. Once Dugan started talking, he said that this is not the first time that this type of thing has happened. And it just mostly has happened in the shacks.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. I and a few others do our best to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Because the military and the disciples and Ratan won't do it. Someone must pick up the slack.
Lecter kind of straightens up, examines everyone at the table. I know what I must do. It seems like more than me. And he's eyeing everyone in the party.
Grim, hearing you say that, speaks up and says, it's not something to take on lightly, son. What we're talking about here, what we're discussing, is treason. Because those who are not deemed worthy or given the authority to wield or to protect, doing so, especially doing so for the punished, are they themselves considered evil? You would be aligning yourself with the outcasts.
Well, I have to say that, I mean, the Free haven't exactly been great to us either. And I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna be like, I mean, just take the captain last night. We had done nothing wrong, but by your mention, he would have strung us up by our thumbs.
That's very true. There are those, especially in the high upper echelon of society, who have, through eons of protection, of favor, and power, have grown to abhor all below them. Literally, in the case of the cities. Why do you think that the glittering gates are so close to the surface, while the shack is so far below ground that even in the winter months it is humid and hot? Because they deem themselves above us and will not stop or will not think to walk on everyone else. It is our duty, looking at himself, Dugan, Valen, Missandra, Mithria, and a few others, to try to ensure that the lower folk within the city are protected.
I'll kind of like lean forward over the table and rest my arms on it, and just, well, seeing as it's now happened higher up as a member of the military, I feel I must further investigate what's going on. So, may have a little bit more leeway in helping out and getting stuff taken care of.
Having one on the inside would never hurt.
I'm gonna kind of place my hand on his shoulder and say, "Are you sure? If they found you out, they'd kill you."
I've been almost left for dead on bad information. Nothing fully new.
We'll know this mole is standing behind you.
And just seeing that, looking around now, looks like you got a bigger group now to help you.
Dugan kind of looks and shakes his head in approval at a lot of you, and then looks and says, "Silver, you are by no means required to join. What do you think? Have you been kind of quiet?"
Master Dugan, this has all taken me quite aback. My time here, simply stumbling into your garden that months ago, leading to this, feels like quite the journey already. But I think I'm ready to take another step forward and carry on from here. I would be happy to join this crew and set out on this adventure with them.
Well,
As long as it's something you wish.
I think that having someone as perceptive and interested in the goings on of things and people and moving as you so like to do. Keep going. I think that would be beneficial to this group.
I couldn't agree with you more, Master Dugan.
Phelan looks forward and says, I know that you're doing a lot. I never wanted any of you, anyone, especially my own daughter, to be brought into the plan or the place that I found myself, having fallen in love with someone who was outside of my realm. There are times where I wish that I hadn't, because it would have been safer for those I love. Looking to Missandra. Miss Mithria, I have to switch it now. But if you all are doing this, then I think it's only fair that we all be fully honest. And he looks at Liora and says, I know. And Osiris agreed, and Dugan verified that you have something within you that has awoken. I don't know when. I know it happened a long time ago. And I know that something happened, but you've been hiding it from us, just as we've been hiding this. And I am so sorry we had to do so. But I think I'd like to move forward, getting to know the real you.
With that, I'm gonna stand up and kind of place one hand on the table and let out kind of a shaky, nervous breath. And I'm gonna say, well, the others already know. And I want to cast Firebolt, but not at anyone. I'd like to just kind of like create like the Firebolt in my hand.
Yeah.
And then dissipate it.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. No problem at all. So you like very briefly have like this bit of fire kind of appear and you hold it in your hand for a moment before the fire, like it flickers between your fingertips and then dissipates away. Sandra says, Mithria says, I had my thoughts, my suspicions for quite a while, but seeing it before me, it's magnificent and terrifying all at once. I think that we will find you and the rest of your compatriots here incredibly useful. And at that point, she looks back and Grim says, well, then I think that it is only right to say and introduce once again, my name is Grim. I am a weaponsmith and armor and weapons enchanter for the Mistwalkers. Go ahead, everyone, roll history for me, please.
Hey, 18.
16.
16 minus 1, 15.
1 second here, guys. Sorry.
Nice.
The 13.
Okay. 13, 15, 16, 18.
Yep.
Okay. Liora, you again being a bartender, you've definitely heard tale of them before. And Osiris, you as well, just because of your time in the military. The Mistwalkers is the name that is given to those who the section of outcasts is like a generalized term that is given and that people consider themselves as those who oppose Rattan, oppose the rule as it is, whether that's in small ways of just like trying to protect those and be those who be there for those who like the government won't, or if it's in larger ways, their groups of Mistwalkers over the course of the last millennia have attempted coups that have failed or rebellions, and that they are the ones that are kind of run the entirety of the underground. So anyone who like is doing illegal goods needs for like your parents, Liora, that needed new identities, like they would have had to get those done, and they would have had to talk to Mistwalkers for that.
With a kind of a shocked realization, I'm going to look at my mother and father and say, was Uncle Benjamin a Mistwalker?
Oh, darling. Yes. Benjamin was... He definitely was a Mistwalker. He and your father were best friends for most of their lives. Valen speaks up. Ben and I knew each other since we were kids. He ran away after Master beat his sister too much for dropping of plates and causing a dish to break. She died in her sleep. He vowed he would never forgive them, and they would never forget about it. He ran away that evening, and he found the Mistwalkers. They trained him. He eventually came back and slaughtered every single one of the family of his previous masters. He found me. I worked with him to an extent as an informant, having working for Mithria's family. I had knowledge and insight into the goings-on that he was able to use to his advantage. Once we needed to escape, there was no better person to reach out to. Benjamin hid us. He set up our fake identities and provided the wedding ring that I was able to use to propose to Mithria, and that has kept her protected. And you see at this point she's put back on the ring, and her ears have shortened again. The features kind of softened up to be more human-like. And since then, Missandra and I have lived here. We have aided in small ways, mostly in shipping and information. We are not fighters. We did not want to start a war, but we had to repay. Once Ben died, Grim and Dugan have been our points of contact.
This is a lot to take in all at once. Goddamn. Benjamin was like fantasy Raymond Reddington.
Kinda, yeah.
I'm just gonna kind of sit back in my chair. I'm just like, this is a lot of information to take in, especially from the previous night, having almost died. This is a lot, and I'm just I'm speechless.
Dugan looks up and says, I think it is about time for us to part ways for the day. My little birds will be reaching out, and if more information is found and if a lead can be gathered for this thing, whatever is happening to these people, we will reach out. You can investigate, and we can go forward. But until then, we are respecting and honoring you with our secret. And I hope that you do your best to keep it as such, a secret.
Our lips are sealed.
I'll stand up and I'll just like put my fist across my chest, and then I'll just ask Dugan, you mind if I at least escort you down to the next gate? I'd like to hear more.
Of course, young man. Lecter and Silva, are you ready to go back to the monastery for the day?
And you, master.
I just kind of nod my head, my ears kind of flopping down.
Well, off we'll go then.
Before he leaves, I want to ask him if I can pet his ears for good luck.
No. No, you may not.
Are you sure? It's not just good luck for me, it's good luck for you.
No.
Oh, come on.
No, you're fixing it for you.
Check.
No, I'm just hopping away.
Damn it.
You got me the other night. I'm hopping out.
Yeah, you can't convince someone to do something he definitely doesn't want to do.
They're so fluffy.
If you're persistent enough, you can.
No means no.
We are heading down a dangerous path here, guys.
All right. Well, I think that is where we're going to call it for the night, y'all. Welcome to the Mistwalkers. I look forward to seeing where things go from here. Any questions or anything before we head out for the night?
I don't think so. I think we're all just excited for the next session.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude.
All right. Well, y'all have a great night, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good night, everyone.
Sweet.
Take it easy.
Peace out.